All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared, and it is January 27th, 2022. We are just about over with our first month of 2022 trading, and boy, what a month it has been. We've seen volatility that has sort of shaken the market this first month of the year. S&Ps, NASDAQ, Russell, the Dow, all of them down over 10% from their all-time highs, of course, with some being down even further. And volatility continues to be sort of the theme for this week. Now, the reason I like to have a theme each and every week is typically there's some driving force in the market, something to sort of keep abreast of, watch in terms of movements or oscillations, and usually the market itself is actually focused on these fluctuations. So it makes sense for us to pay attention as well. And what better way to start off with volatility than to talk about our expected move for the week in the S&P 500 index. So as we know, on Monday's session, we had a tag of the lower bound of the expected move. Keep in mind that this was pricing in about a 150-point expected move for the week. And we were coming from a previous week where not only had we broken the expected move, but we had exceeded it by almost 3 times that price expectation. So volatility was certainly prepped for this week. Market was anticipating the type of price action that we are seeing. And so far, we are sitting pretty much dead set near the midpoint of the expected move range. Keeping in mind that yesterday we did have our federal FOMC minutes and the press conference that followed shortly thereafter. Lots of volatility, both in the actual minutes and then the press conference, of course, leading to an afternoon sell-off as some of the statements by federal chair were either hawkish, expected, but market anticipation was still looking for a possible deviation from what has been promised, along with some of the overall, I would say, uncertainty of some of the questions and answers. Lots of sort of forward-looking expectation as opposed to any new decisions coming from this particular press conference. So for the rest of the year, we are still looking at a proposed 3 rate hikes. Some estimates are pricing in upwards of 5 rate hikes. That is, of course, a lower probability event. And with these rate hikes, we will also be seeing things like asset purchasing coming to a halt. And what that means is some of the Federal's balance sheet is going to start unwinding back into the market. So what are some things that are affected? Obviously, the bonds and the bond 10-year treasury notes are one of the key focuses for things like tech stocks. We know that interest rates are one of the more sensitive areas for high growth, high multiple PEs, anything that has to do with tech, discretionary, or sort of forward-looking earnings expectations and the pricing model for these types of stocks or these types of companies. And as we sit today, we're looking at the 10-year treasury note sitting right next to its most recent swing low. Now, obviously, when you look at this chart, it's pretty clear that we're in some sort of short-term downtrend. We obviously have a lot of downward momentum, moving averages, everything sort of pointing towards new lows. And pullbacks so far have been basically faded, indicative of either a retest or new swing lows to come. What this will do, of course, is force interest rates higher. And this is sort of the dynamic that this market continues to monitor. We're looking at TNX, our 10-year treasury index, sitting not only next to its most recent swing high, very similar to /ZN, but also looking for a possible breakout if we see a breach. And just like we saw back in the beginning of this year, new information in regards to interest rates or fresh breakouts can cause volatility to sort of leak into the tech sector. And as always, we're looking at things like the NASDAQ. You can almost draw a comparison here. And one thing you can do is compare with something like the TNX. What we can do is narrow things down just by the most recent trade. This is going to take away that. Give me a moment. Let's take off the moving averages to sort of narrow down the price. And as you can see, there's a pretty clear inverse correlation when it comes to some of the movement that we've been seeing. The TNX going up has led to the NASDAQ going down. This is just very basic sort of pattern recognition here. But essentially, this dynamic has been driving some of the trade that we've seen. This going down while the TNX has risen. We saw a pause. We saw a pause. Opposite effect. Opposite effect. Pause and a pause. Now we're seeing this rise, and the NASDAQ is once again threatening swing lows. Keep in mind that here I'm only showing, I believe, up into the 18th. Let's get a more recent picture together and really show this type of volatility, swing lows as we're getting rising. And then in this case, an interesting deviation short term, but remember the market was already in free fall. Now we're seeing once again another spike in the TNX with the NASDAQ threatening a bear flag to retest lows or to even break down even further. So when stepping into this type of trade, technique, strategy, sort of tactical evaluation of risk is key. You'll notice that for things like swing trade recaps, we're actually a bit light in this current environment. It's pretty challenging to step into new swing longs, or in this case of even shorting the market. It's very challenging to step in with the right type of risk or reward profile simply because the volatility is so high. And there's so many ways to evaluate this volatility. We've looked at this throughout the week. One thing is looking at the option market. For the S&Ps, we only have 2 additional trading sessions. And yet the volatility, at least for the SPX, is pricing in about a 37% IV, which correlates to about a 100-point move left for the week. So if you thought that the volatility was over, we have not seen it back away quite yet. We've looked at volatility futures, sort of peering directly into a marketplace that correlates with the type of risk that the market is seeing. Not only did this market go into backwardation, we saw the inverse of what is a normal product depth curve or a term structure curve. That is now inverted. It has continued to either flip short term, usually just a very small return to a flat curve overall. But at this moment, we are still sitting slightly inverted. And that is, of course, just comparing active to March contracts, along with looking out to see that even further in time, we are still slightly inverted throughout the rest of the term structure. So this volatility has been great for intraday trade. It's been exciting if you are someone who knows how to manage risk. But in terms of the volatility overnight, along with the type of risk profile that you have to take, assuming you're using things like shares and you're mostly using things like daily levels to define your stops, it can be quite challenging both from a short and from a long perspective to step in and sort of assume that one particular daily high or low is going to hold. The market tends to break these levels, test them by getting above, and then in the case of yesterday's trading session, collapse back down, of course, forming new structure and new confirmation for us to evaluate. So what are some things that are postured at the moment? What's sort of the evaluation of the market based on what we've done so far? Well, obviously, we've sold off quite hard, and we do have a pretty high volume low for the market to defend. But in terms of the most recent sell-off, I'll just do this once again. It was already on the chart. We're just looking from high to low. We're currently sitting in a position where the most probable scenario is that we are forming a bear flag. We simply have not bounced enough before seeing additional sell side pressure. And what we are looking at is a retracement of approximately 45%, putting us sort of in that gray zone of we didn't bounce hard enough, at least until we saw the most recent sell from yesterday's session. And additionally, the posture of the downtrend is still very much at risk for new lows, or for at the very least a retest of the low. And this is true for pretty much all markets. If we go into the NASDAQ, one of our weaker areas, we're seeing the same thing. Pullback so far has been to about the 38.2. So of course, additional downside is not only probable, but it's one of the more likely scenarios based simply on the size of the retracement. And then last but not least, our market that is in free fall. And we're once again just going to use the same anchor points. I'm not necessarily using the most recent high, but I am using swing highs that have formed the most recent sell-off. Once again, postured at that 38.2, seeing the selling pressure from yesterday's session. Best case scenario here for bulls is that we not only get a retest, but we sort of hold in some form of a range. And that, of course, can stabilize, at least in the short term, additional downside, sort of another sell swing event as the market attempts to once again find a relative low or a minor low in regards to some technical terminology. So postured overall, market is still very much threatened. One area of interest has been the Dow. The Dow does have that one test of the 50% retracement. It did see selling yesterday, but the bounce has been higher, at least from a low to high perspective. The percentage move has been more significant. And ultimately, this particular index has not necessarily lost as much ground as other indices. We're still sitting below key moving averages, but when it comes to the swing low that was set in the past, we're sort of holding near this particular price. So if the market does bounce, we should see another sort of indication of strength, possibly forming in the Dow first and foremost. And of course, key stocks in the Dow are going to be the ones to watch. You want to be thinking some of the industrial names, some of our stronger healthcare names, and then even stocks like Goldman Sachs, which have already passed their earnings. These are all stocks that have significant weight on the Dow, including, as we pull up the Dow 30 list, and we sort by price, the likes of Microsoft, which is already reported, and as we've seen, has basically found some stability around 295. So these are all notes for today. As we shift into looking at some stocks in play, just keep in mind that a lot of our names coming up this rest of the week, earnings for Apple, very important, obviously, tech stock for us to keep on watch. Once again, just doing that sort of repeat pattern of where the pullback has landed. Obviously, if earnings were not in play, this would still have sort of a bear flag posture. And remember that Apple holds a lot of significance for the market itself. So whatever happens during earnings is going to affect some of Friday's trade and the location where we open tomorrow. We also saw Tesla report earnings, bit of a nothing event at this moment, at least in regards to where the stock price has settled. We did see after hours volatility, a retest of that 885 price level, previous all-time high swing, along with some upper volatility back into the 970. And then, of course, yesterday's volatility, very notable as this particular stock made almost an 80-point swing from high to low. Lots of intraday opportunity as long as you have your risk in check for stepping into some of those trades. All right, so pretty much that's what's on watch for today. I'll just kind of reiterate what's been working. Crude, once again, is up. If it loads. There we go. So crude is up, another swing high. Market is still in backwardation here. Really nothing of change, but just noting that the strength in energy continues. This is still areas of the market to watch. And while XLE did stall out slightly on yesterday's volatility, remember that we just made new swing highs. So now we want to start watching what this formation looks like, and we might even get a bit of a trading channel moving forward, especially if we can move back and forth throughout the volatility. So keep that on watch. The dollar has broken out as of this morning. Not a good sign for equities in general, but also a bit of a headwind for our metals. We'll look at gold really quickly, which has been in play. There has been some decent gold trades, sort of catching sort of a counter trend rally that we're seeing in this market. Nothing really of note here. Just kind of keep on watch this structure. This is a pretty long-term consolidation for gold. A lot of people are calling for the next bullish cycle in gold because we are seeing some breaches of our dominant retracement line. Kind of mark that down. We did have a false breakout here, but we held pretty well on the pullback. So definitely want to keep gold on watch. I think what's threatening it at the moment is dollar strength, and this could obviously sort of crack this possible breakout, simply bringing us back into our main trading range. And that's going to be very similar for silver as well. Silver continues to reject the 200. It's also rejecting some notable swing low, swing high areas. Basically another trading range to watch. Low definition and high definition pretty clear here. But opportunity if you're looking to buy long, and then if you're looking to sell short up in these resistance zones. So lots of short-term trade taking place here. Different catalysts in different markets, and certainly the dollar strength is something to keep on watch. So if we summarize, dollar strength, interest rates potentially moving higher today, especially with a new low set in the 10-year. Keep an eye out for more yield curve flattening throughout the next couple of weeks. We've already seen some volatility in longer dated bond yields. Those are, of course, starting to creep into the 7, 10, and 20, getting a bit more flat. Obviously, Fed interaction is going to be pivotal moving into the next couple of months. But we have the information. The S&Ps get a chance to digest what the Fed has said. And really, the key here is that if you are intraday trading this market, prepare for more volatility. Nothing really has stepped down. The VIX is still high. We're sitting slightly above 30 at this point in time. More importantly, if you're trading in the NASDAQ, this is the vol Q. If you like the VIX, you might want to put the vol Q on your watch list, because here volatility has not only exceeded a previous sell swing, whereas the VIX is sort of in line, but the pullback or the sort of contraction of volatility in the NASDAQ is less. We're sitting at a higher sort of 30-day IV in the NASDAQ itself. And even more interestingly, the Russell. In terms of volatility, the Russell's volatility spiked higher in early December. And what we've seen is a resurge back into these 40 prints, obviously with current IV at about 37. This is not an easy trade. It is very fast. It's very aggressive trade. So if you are an experienced intraday trader, you are probably loving the type of volatility we're seeing. If you're a newer trader, just understand, play things by the book. If something breaks, if something is not working for you, be willing to get out of your trade, because ultimately the volatility is bigger, it's wider, it's more aggressive than most of us are typically prepared for. It's just a different market to trade in. And how you step in, your tactic, obviously option trading, really successful in this type of market, helps define your risk, allows you to be flexible. Obviously, you can take a bit of overnight sort of risk definition without the gaps being too much of a concern. Those tactics are going to save you in this market, especially if you're not used to trading it and if you're stepping in for the first time into basically a wild playpen for bears and bulls. So with that said, we have about 10 more minutes. So if y'all want to look at anything, let me know. I'll start off with the bear bull trade chat room. So if you want to look at a stock, you'll have sort of a thesis idea for an intraday opportunity. We looked at Tesla already. Tesla came from earnings. Nothing of note here. So just play the range that Tesla has. AMD. AMD did have a nice catalyst this morning. We'll talk about the fact that there is sort of a temporary approval of the Xilinx acquisition from China. And what we're looking at is a back test of a very important sort of zone for AMD's chart. You want to be thinking sort of a weekly breakout in this range. And if you get down into the daily, we talked about it briefly here. There's a gap that sits between the October 12th and October 13th breakout. It's a very important sort of price level. The intraday trade has already tagged this zone. Lack of follow through on a range breakdown, low to high, lack of follow through. So a bit of a bear trap. And as you can see, we're pulling back, sort of getting in phase for a possible trend change. So if we're looking for something like a new high, market can kind of pull into these price levels and hopefully start to break higher, especially if you're looking for the bullish setup. Now, arguably the range buy here is probably your best bet. So the lower it goes, the better your sort of risk or reward. But this flush right here, I'd actually be watching this low. This is your range low. This is the one that matters. This right here has some daily confluence, which makes it kind of a nice setup overall. Let's see. Gush. So Gush is going to be our energy. This is bullish energy, right? Yeah, this should be bullish, right? Because drip is bearish. Yeah. So this is oil and gas exploration. So I guess it tracks this a little bit more closely. If I look at Gush and I look at the XOP, these charts are very similar. So honestly, there is bullish bias in crude at the moment. XOP is stuck between a decent trading range, but trading mid-range, pretty challenging. You may want to sort of shift into stocks in play, especially with, let's see, we had natural gas yesterday. I believe the oil report is today. I'm always forgetting which one's Wednesday and which one's Thursday, but there's going to be some shakeup with the report today. So just keep an eye out for that either oil or natural gas report, and it should be oil, and play it based on that. Usually the market kind of waits for that report. So it's natural gas on Thursday? I can't remember. Yeah, always get them flipped. And finally, SQ. We'll do this one, then I'll flip over to the YouTube. Let's do a longer term time frame here. Nice reaction close to 100. Let's see what our volume profile says. Are we in a zone of interest? Ooh, we're right at a nice shelf. So that low hit here. Let me go lower. 102. Recovery to 120, down to 108 right now. You know, I'm still looking at bear flags here. So let's measure from all of the most recent bear flags that we've been looking at, same day that the selling started, and pull it down. Yeah, 38 too. So, you know, SQ still has a bearish bias right now, possible bear flag. I'd almost look for another retest in these zones just to get sort of the buying interest back, and then look for a confirmation for a turnaround. But the risk right now is that this is still in selling mode. You know, there's no indication here that this low won't be retested. Still a bear flag. So, all right, let's look at some other names. We got Netflix. There was some news. Bill Ackman proposed that they are now a pretty large shareholder for Netflix. So they're obviously bullish, medium to long term, this particular company. Short term, though, we want to play what's in play, and levels matter for setups. So obviously this swing high, I would like to see it clear for any bullish setup. Maybe a nice pre-market rise above this level. And then you sort of have your secondary high here. So it puts it in a little bit of a zone. Once you get above that, though, you start to look at a possible reclaim of an area of low trading volume. I guess you could argue there's one more area right around here. So ideally for the bulls, hold the pre-market chop. You know, there's a pre-market low, pre-market high. The bulls need to see a breakout, because what you're fighting right now is a lot of sell-off, bounce back, sell-off, bounce back, sell-off, bounce back. So if you're a bull, you probably don't want to do this anymore. You want to actually posture yourself bullish. And, you know, the moving averages are flat. There's no real trend here, but we're still making lower lows. We're kind of just dribbling down. This catalyst can change it. We need to see a confirmation. And I'll do one more. Rosie, Twilio or NVIDIA? Which one do you want? Five, four, three, two, one. All right, I'm going with NVIDIA. So NVIDIA off the 200. I'd watch it today just because of AMD. They don't necessarily trade in tandem every single day, but AMD has a very specific catalyst to its own company. NVIDIA does not. So whatever sort of the balancing act is in regards to, is the market thinking this acquisition is bullish for AMD, we should see buying. If NVIDIA is in sympathy, we should see similar buying. If not, bear flag. there's still this looming presence of every single stock that is sold is doing bear flags. So just watch out for that. We're kind of in an area of inflection for NVIDIA because of the 200. I don't like trading into it, but I don't mind trading away from it. So if you can get a bounce, that kind of negates the bear flag scenario. Overall, though, still bear flag. So, all right, that's it. So thank y'all. Have a great Friday, great rest of your trading week. We'll talk more next week. And as always, stay tuned for pre-market prep.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market Prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you guys had an incredible day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today? Oh, I don't hear
Good
you.
morning, buddy. I'm
There you
doing
go.
well. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Um, all right, guys. Let's get into it. We had a definitely an eventful day yesterday. Just things a little bit all over the place. If we to say the least. Let's take a look at some of the stuff we had on the list this morning. Yesterday morning, starting
Let's
with
just pray that we don't have any exchange issues this morning.
Yeah, there's some definitely some funky stuff going on, guys, with people not able to get out of positions or data a little bit delayed. It was just funky. So especially with the NICE as we discussed yesterday. Um, so far today, everything looks in line. So hopefully things stay that way. Um, our watch list, we have Microsoft on it. Again, this was kind of the the overall dance yesterday, right? You had a great pre-market on Microsoft. Market opened a lot of chop, which we kind of expected with the meetings going on later in the afternoon. So again, just one initial drop here. Pre-market was beautiful, and then nothing happened really in the market open, right? Just nothing going on there into later parts of the day, and even then, this is still not all that clean, right? Tesla, same situation, guys. Pure chop, not much going on later in the day. You see the madness, and you saw some of the stuff with the spot. It was just a wild day yesterday. Nvidia was probably one of the more on the cleaner side. Also, BA. We'll look at that next. Nvidia was very nice, beautiful drop here, nice little bounce. This one actually traded very well. Out of the gate here, it did have beautiful pre-market activity, and we've been talking about Nvidia being really good as far as a intraday stock to trade the last couple of months, really now.
For sure.
So yeah, that's been definitely on our radar. Even when it doesn't have a great pre-market activity, it's been okay. Apple very choppy, nothing to see here. Then everything else just kind of did this mess here with some crazy wicks. We were talking about this with Peter and Mike on the close yesterday's show. Here we have plugs, very similar to Apple. BA was very nice. We knew BA was in play yesterday. Had a little issue getting going with the data, but once it opened up, it actually traded very well. Look at the beautiful drop here and nice continuation after a pullback to the VWAP. So again, very well there on BA. And I know we have Ford. I didn't really watch Ford. Just one initial drop, and I guess it didn't do a whole lot. So that was our stuff yesterday, guys. Let's take a look at the overall market this morning and what's going on with what's the latest and greatest.
Yeah, up just shy of 0.5% on the SPY, 0.75% on the Qs. We've had this drop over the last couple of weeks that has kind of just sitting here consolidating, see if it's going to try to reverse or if we're going to bounce, if we're going to reverse or if we're going to consolidate and then continue lower. Who knows? Anybody's guess is as good as mine. We just had initial jobless claims come in, which were in line with expectations. Continuing claims, I think, were roughly the same. GDP first read for fourth quarter just came out a little bit more than expected. So haven't seen that do a whole lot to the markets. We'll have pending home sales at 10 a.m. See what we got.
All right, we'll see what we have. Wait, today? No, today's not Friday. It's Friday?
No.
Oh, Jerry, you're throwing me off, my friend. Jerry said, happy Friday. I'm like, oh, Friday. Yes, weekend coming up. But no, it's not. It's not Friday. It is Thursday. All right, guys, let's take a look here on our gappers list this morning. Got a couple of names in the green already. I see some that do not trade very well. Here, STM, YNDX, not a good one. Even XLNX, not great. Usually, we'll look into the details of that. And then we have Netflix. Netflix has been making a lot of noise. We'll see what's going on there. mRNA, Plug, and Donkey Kong, which is a DKNG here, which is not Donkey Kong, by the way. That is, I want to be clear because Andrew will correct me. That is DraftKings. So we'll see what's happening there. And then towards the downside, a couple of names also. Not great tickers so far.
No.
But let's see. Let's see what's going on there. All right, let's get rid of our watch list from yesterday this morning. We'll get rid of that. Control A, Control X gets that done. And let's dive in here, guys. Let's start with YNDX. It has been on our list quite a bit in the past. Actually, it was in here not about 2 days ago or so. We had it on this list. Just looking at the daily, again, doesn't put in a great pre-market activity. The intraday doesn't put a great pre-market activity. You do have a couple of days where you had a nice run here. But I assume these were days where the overall market was moving. So again, you could have just traded anything else that gives you a better.
They had some news a few days ago, but I haven't seen anything since that on the 19th about a settlement on something. So I don't know what it's moving on this morning. It's a decent pop, not super heavy volume. Foreign company, Russian internet provider, but based in Netherlands, or at least the company's headquartered there. So I don't know. This one was all over this one was a crazy trader that was always on the watch list a couple of years ago, and it's been a while since I've really seen it. So yeah. I'm definitely gonna keep it off my list. Can it do something? Yeah, but I'm hoping to find something a little bit more stable than this one here. Heading over to XLNX, another one that's been on our list quite a bit. Here, the spread on this one could be wild. The price action is not great, and they don't get a whole lot of volume, even on days like this right over here. Look at the movement you got on this date here, going from 185 down to 165 and then back up, as you can see there. And you trade at 6.3, right? So usually when I see those numbers, it translates to not a great intraday action. It could be very, very thin as far as volume. So not a big fan of this one, guys. I'm going to keep it off. This morning, they got some volume, though. 2.7 million shares traded. So volume is there. You know what? Look at that a little bit closely. 2.7, 2.8. That's almost half of what they do on a regular basis, not a regular basis, on their biggest days, right? In the pre-market already. So maybe that could be a difference maker. Norm, I don't know if there's a catalyst here that's worth keeping this on deck. AMD's buying them, and I guess there was approval from Chinese regulators on it. That having been said, I hate this ticker.
Yes,
I took early on. I took my biggest loss ever on this, and I don't trade it.
Yeah. My biggest loss was on BIDA.
I don't even know what that is.
I think it was it. I thought it was. Maybe I forgot. I feel my mind erased the ticker it was. But we all have that ticker. We had our biggest loss on it. We
I
don't.
lost like $12,000.
I beat you, man. I beat you. I lost 17.
Okay.
Oh man, yeah. It's brutal. So I don't. What's it? I forgot the ticker already.
I mean, it happens to everybody.
Oh, it happens to all of
It
us.
screwed up my mind for 6 months.
Oh yes, yeah. It's tough. We don't speak about those days often. All right, guys.
Daniel, yeah. What's up, buddy? Been a long time.
Guys, STM here. This is a foreign stock. We don't normally look at it. Doesn't look great. We'll skip on this one. Netflix this morning. Again, just kind of like we talked about, right? This thing gapped down on this news, and then since then, just has been going sideways. Not really a whole lot going on here. So again, I'm not a fan of it at the moment. I don't think it's really in play. Will it be later down the line? Yes. I think once we start breaking out of this range, whether we get some good news, positive or negative, that could be exciting. But right now, I think we're just kind of stuck here. I think we're gonna find better stuff to trade this morning. Laser pre-market activity not great. Yeah, I'm not liking that either. mRNA, what's going on here with these guys? So nothing happening with them. They had some swings yesterday.
An upgrade this morning.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe that could do something. I mean, this stock has taken any type of positive news. I think is welcome on mRNA because look at their chart here. They have really been just getting slammed. I mean, this thing trading well above 300 here, 380, 400, 440, and now just coming back to reality a little bit. Um, I'm not sure. Not sure. You know what? It's been beat up so much that maybe that could spark something. Maybe. DKNG actually was great yesterday, guys. DKNG traded very, very nice yesterday. We didn't talk about this, but in the chat, we were all over this stuff. Look how great this thing took off yesterday. You had to survive this crazy drop here. After that, it did very, very well, held on to the moving averages. So I don't know if you're going to get a continuation today. I mean, this thing did drop right back down to where it was yesterday at the open. You got 2.1. I expect volume to come in. We'll just have to see how the market open is going to be. So not looking great right now, but it can turn out to be really, really good if it decides to get some volume in there. Here's Ford, 1.4 million. Not seeing anything great as far as pre-market activity right now. Huge gap up yesterday, gave it all back the same day. So yeah, not seeing anything great there. See what's gapping down. We have a LCID this morning, which is I was supposed to say Lucid. No, this is a LC actually. And this one here is down 20%, 381,000 shares traded so far. Looks like we had this on our list before because we
Our
have
earnings
levels.
last night.
Yeah, we have levels for this. Earnings last night, not doing well. This could be okay. This could be okay. A little thin.
In their case, maybe you should call it losings.
Yeah, losings. Yeah. So losings could be okay. We make up our own names here, guys, and it's just
you gotta have fun.
Have fun with it. We'll see. Let's see where this goes. Big drop today. I like that. We're losing some levels here for the most part. They're very thin on volume, though. Let's see if we can get some good volume this morning. Huya, I'm not a fan of. I think this thing is very choppy. It's very hard to read the price action. I'm just not going to spend any time on that one. But if you do like this one, it is down 3.5, 227,000. SQ down 3.3 this morning. This looks good. Daily looks good on SQ, by the way, too. Yeah, I'm gonna add SQ. We'll do some levels for that. INTC this morning, they are down 2.6, 620,000. Man, they're daily last couple of days. Look at this how nasty this looks. Look at these wicks. I mean, that looks funky. So I mean, they normally do not put in a great daily. They had a little stretch here, right? This,
INTC sucks to
look
trade.
At this. Look at this. This is Nah, I don't want to touch that. Billy this morning, pretty quiet. Not really in play. McDonald's, right? MCD, yeah, McDonald's here down
earnings.
2.2. Yeah.
Don't trade very well.
Yeah, even with earnings, right? I don't remember them being a good trader. Like, for example, Starbucks doesn't trade very well, but in earnings, Starbucks does do very good. We've seen that on Starbucks. But McDonald's is one of those that even in earnings, they don't move great. I mean, it's just such a massive company, it's got to be something huge that happens for it to move. All right, guys, let's stop here. Norm, anything you like on your end this morning?
Tesla had earnings last night, so I expect them to. I mean, they've got some volume this morning, not much of a gap,
Yep.
So it'll be interesting. I'm sure it will be in play today.
Yeah.
Lucid, maybe.
Yeah, Tesla
Still
will
looking
be in
around.
play today. Lucid, let's take a look at Lucid here. Yeah, Lucid could be explosive. Maybe sympathy move there. Who knows? We'll put that on deck as well as possible. All right, let's take it to the room, guys. We'll start with Mo. INTC earnings yesterday. Yep, that's on deck. Dan, MCD was mixed. Okay, mixed news. AMD. Let's see what's going on with AMD this morning. Did you guys see the crazy candles on AMD last night? Sorry, at the close yesterday. Look at this. A lot of stuff had these crazy wicks into the close. I mean, how do you trade? You couldn't really trade this. It was just all over the place. Microsoft, Apple, they all had this just weird type candles here. So funky stuff happening there. AMD this morning, 6.7 million shares traded. They got some heavy volume. A lot of it sitting in this one candle, though, 2.4 right on here. Still, even if you take this out, that's still a lot of volume. Might be worth taking a look at what's going on there with AMD. Microsoft, hold on, let's skip someone here. Yep, AMD is good. NSEC. What is this? No. This is a block trade, I think. Yeah, whatever it is, it just doesn't look good. Look at this daily. No. You don't want to add this to your watch list. This is brutal. Anton, yeah, just what's the float on this? I'm just curious.
Buyout.
Yeah. So I mean,
million share float, buyout. That's garbage all the way around.
Yeah, it's not going to do anything. I highly doubt it's going to do anything. Nvidia, this morning, yeah, you could watch Nvidia. Kind of alongside with Apple. I have AMD this morning. Nvidia has been great, guys. I love their daily here as well. Start to find some support right at one of the moving averages that we like to see here. Is that the 50? No, that's the 100. That's the 100. Yeah. So Nvidia, yeah, this could be good. Let's put Nvidia there. Let's take a look at Apple. What's happening here? Apple's pre-market activity looks very good. We got some good volume as well on Apple. So again, tech has been taking a hit as we guys been talking here, also discussing in the engineering the markets prep with Jared. So we'll take a look at Apple. Microsoft this morning. I don't want to get too heavy on tech, but Microsoft here. Volume wise, pretty quiet. We're definitely seeing better pre-market activity. Don't get the volume today. They have been for the last couple of days. Just look at this volume here, increase in the last couple of days here, especially with the way the SPY's been moving. But I have Apple, I have AMD, I have Nvidia. I think that's plenty for right now. All right, let's see what else. AMC, Vera's giving us AMC. Let's see what's going on with AMC here. AMC, no, I don't think it's really in play, man. The volume's not there. You're finding a level here. We just have to see what it does from here. But again, I don't think it's really in play at the moment, unless there's any kind of surge in volume that you're going to get there. I don't see it being something you watch this morning. That's kind of something you wait for it to hit the scanners. ARDS. I don't like the way this looks already. I mean, you have the initial pop is just going sideways, pushing heavy volume around, but not doing anything.
He did preface it with "if you have a strong stomach."
Yes, agree.
Which he's right.
Yeah, I agree. You have to definitely.
Or you're masochist or something.
I mean, this is brutal.
This
is brutal. So careful
might do
on that.
Something. Who knows?
Yes, AJ. There's some that are just definitely no. That's for sure. All right, guys, that is what we have. We looked at XLNX. I'm not a fan, guys. It doesn't trade very well. CCL this morning. Travel stocks, I don't think are in play. No, they're pretty quiet. All of American Airlines, CCL, not doing a whole lot this morning. Oil, anything going on with oil? BP, I mean, you're not going to see a whole lot of volume. Let's look at Oxy this morning. They're slightly up 1.6. You kind of have to wait for the market open for these and kind of see how the direction is going to take. Once in a while, you might see a great pre-market activity, but at the market open, you can kind of see how that whole oil sector is doing, right? We'll put Oxy on here just to see if anything great is happening in there. All right, I think we're all set. Let's look at some over in YouTube. We have Rick giving us now. Now this morning is not going anywhere no time soon. This thing is 50,000 shares. Just was no. This is no good, guys. No good. Rick, that's brutal, man. Careful with that if you're gonna be trading that.
It's not really. It's not a very good day trading stock.
Yeah. Nike's another one that's not great neither. Right now, they don't have any volume, so not really in play at the moment. Neo, Neo with Tesla's earnings, we can see how Tesla's going to do. Maybe Neo can do something, but Lucid has been more explosive. So I have Lucid as a possible here. They have been more explosive lately, so let's see if that does. And again, as you have Tesla and Lucid here, think of Neo and any other EV companies that might take off there. But at the moment, not much going on. Riot, No Value, Mara, and again, these guys, these stocks, these Bitcoin plays, man, they've just been brutal. I have not seen anything great out of them. And when they do move nicely, it's because the whole market is moving, and you just can't find something else that you like that has been trading great. Nvidia, Apple, AMD, whatever. So I've been keeping them off my list. Keep them on yours if you like them, but I have not seen them do anything crazy. Ox, you're saying great trades these last couple of days. Yeah, because the whole overall market is moving, right? So the overall market is pushing these things heavily in one direction. We had some good trading days on a lot of stuff, right? A lot of tickers that are not moving on their own catalyst, right? So GameStop pretty quiet this morning. Oh, had a nice pop yesterday. And did not see that. Nice little push there towards 118 from 101. Man, that's a nice push yesterday on GameStop, right back down. I don't think this morning you're setting up for a continuation. Volume is very light, at least right now. Nobody's looking at it. You will have to wait for the volume to come in, like it did here, right? Pretty dead. Then the volume comes in, you start getting this the attention, and that's where you get the pop. And then when this starts happening, just look for the scanners. This will come up on your scanners here, right? So I'm not gonna stick around at the open and waste a slot waiting for that to happen. I'll let the scanners do their job and let us know what's going on there. BA was good yesterday. This morning could be something actually. That's a good possible. I like their daily. BA does trade very well. Nice drop here yesterday after was it earnings BA had?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was earnings. Yeah, yeah. So we'll see. Back at this level of support there on BA. We'll see how that turns out. DKNG we do have on the list here, guys. Be Big. What is Be Big doing? I'm not a huge fan of Be
There was
Big.
just news that came out on them a moment ago.
Yeah. They have volume. Look at this last candle here. It's probably a block trade, 357,000. Not doing a whole lot, but let's see. What's the news? Is like earnings or just kind of
No,
general? Yeah.
it was something else. I don't know. So,
All right. I'm not a big fan. We'll throw it on here. They got crazy volume right now, 1.1 million, but their pre-market action looks very, very suspect this morning. Last one here,
whole
guys.
company
SoFi.
suspect.
Yes, I agree. What do these guys even do? I mean, what's even the name of the company? I don't even know what the name of the company is.
Whatever's popular that week.
They changed the name. Vingo Ventures. Vingo Ventures.
The subsidiary Cryptide enters into agreements to raise $42 million in common equity and convertible debt. So they are
That doesn't sound very healthy.
funding now.
Yeah, doesn't sound very healthy. Neo. Oh, we looked at Neo already. Yeah, Neo could be a good possible. I have Tesla. I have Lucid. I think I'm good with the EV side already. But Neo could be a good one as well. Microsoft, we did look at. It's not doing a whole lot. We have a couple of tech companies in here, AMD, Nvidia, and Apple already. Microsoft is not. You know what? No, I take that back. It might. Let's do possible for Microsoft. All right, guys, we will stop here. Let's head over to our community events and announcements. We'll come back and fine tune our list this morning.
Yeah. All right, Peter's webinar on starting your day trading journey should be posted next week, Tuesday, Amen, 5 o'clock Eastern. He's going to be talking about trading ABCD patterns. Creda's webinar from last night should be posted soon. And then next week, we've got a Mastermind Pro presentation from Dr. Kenneth Reed. That'll be 8 p.m. the normal time on Wednesday. If you have not checked it out yet, be sure to check out stocktradingsimulator.com. It is the free web-based replay simulator that we've built. You don't have to enter any information or register. If you'd like to, you can put your email in the bottom to get homework assignments. We don't sell that list and we don't spam you. Sorry. And then if you would, if you're watching on YouTube, haven't been in the chat, you'd like to give it a try, you can use the promo code PREMARKET24. It'll get you a discount off the intro membership. That is 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the room, does not auto renew. It does only bills you one time and that cancels after a week. And Also, if you'd like to become an elite member, gain access to all the webinars that we have, you can use the promo code WINTER40 and get 40% off the annual elite membership.
All right, thank you, Norm, for that. Appreciate that. Let's get to it, guys. Let's see what we have here on our list this morning, starting with LC. So LC here, guys. This one is down 19%. So a nice big drop there on LC this morning. We'll have to see where it goes here. It does have some decent volume, 435,000. We'll keep them on there. SQ, yeah, SQ is decent. I like the daily on SQ. Man, look at the hit on SQ since October. I mean, went sideways here between August and all the way to about November. So actually November, then you start seeing the drop here. This thing has just been getting crushed. So trying to find some support here at 108. As you can see, it kind of plateauing a little bit there. Not plateauing, just kind of trying to find some kind of base there. Well, let's see where it goes. I think it could be interesting today. 303,000. We'll keep that one on deck. Tesla is really good, guys. Getting going here nicely this morning after earnings last night. AMD, the volume is crazy on AMD, 6.9. Volume also good on NVIDIA, 500,000. Things are starting to head northeast at the moment. It's the SPY doing some fun stuff. Yeah, SPY is pushing higher a little bit here, so that will affect these companies for sure. And I'm sure Apple's doing the same thing. Yeah, so guys, eyes on the SPY as we've been doing feels like the last 3 4 weeks. And so we've been doing just kind of checking the SPY, especially this week and last week, just checking what the SPY is doing and taking advantage of some of these gray moves and volatility that we're getting. Secondary list, Microsoft is good. Lucid will stay here. We have Tesla, which looks it's really in play. mRNA is not really in play. I have it here to see if that positive news can create anything for them. DKNG was great yesterday. Can we get another pop today is the question. This one you have to wait for the market open to get going. Oxy we have here as well, possible. BA top possible. Nice range. Look at the last 3 days. Beautiful range here, man. Yesterday gave a lot back, gapped up, and just kind of slammed down here this yesterday. Let's see what it does on BA and BBig. We have here just for fun. We'll see what that goes. So I don't think there's anything in our secondary list that we can move up right now. You have Microsoft, you have Lucid. You can replace some of these if you prefer to have those on your list. For example, SQ, we'll do levels for it because it does look interesting. But for me personally, I probably will move this down and move something else up because I don't trade SQ very well. Lucid, I'm sorry, not Lucid, LC. Let's start here. Low of the pre-market this morning, we're looking at 1775, great level there. Then towards the top, high of the pre-market, pretty much the low from 2 days ago. So I'm not going to mark that down to not create any more levels on my list. The less the better, the more simpler the better. That's how I like to keep the charts here. 1882, good level here. Nice little bounce off this date. You want to have that there as well. So this is LC. Again, nice gap down today. We'll see if they can get the volume and trend nicely. Heading over here to the left, we're going to look at some levels towards the bottom of that 1770, which is our low of our pre-market. And right in here, we have 16, no, 15, yeah, 1622. Actually, it's a little bit lower. No, it's not there. It is 1592, something like that. Yeah, 1582, great level there. Tons of support in this area here. You have another one up here as well, actually, 1653. This is also good. You got the ping pong action happening here below that 1770 that we're looking at this morning. So let's see if that's going to be in effect today. Trying to hold the 1770, tested a few times already this morning. Let's see if that can become a good area of support for LC today. Towards the top, guys, above the pre-market high, which is pretty much close to the 2 days ago. You have the highs and lows from the last two trading days. I wouldn't add anything else here, but this day here might be something, right? You have a little bit of confirmation. This is a nice little bounce here, and then here you have a couple of days opening, closing right around that 21 area. So that could be something there. Let's see if it's going to hold here. If it flushes here, that could be interesting. You're going to get a nice little drop there if it does do that. It's going to test it again for the third time. So maybe third time is a charm. We'll see. We'll come back to that. SQ this morning, guys. Again, trying to hold on to this 110 here. Previous day close. The few times that it's gotten below that, it found a way to pop back up, like right over here. Low of this candle is going to be 101.97. Low of the pre-market this morning, 106.40. So just going to keep these two levels on here towards the top. You have plenty previous day close and everything else on there. Pre-market activity for SQ. This is not bad SQ pre-market activity, guys. They don't trade heavy volume. They are sitting on the New York Stock Exchange, which usually you don't get like at AMD, Apple type pre-market activity. You're not going to get that, but they're looking pretty decent with 321,000 shares traded so far. Here's Tesla looking very, very nice this morning, breaking into the green territory. Was down for the whole pre-market, looks like here. Low of the pre-market is down here at 919, but I do like this area here because you got a lot of support at 924. See this here? It's a lot of support happening there. Light volume, but either way, it held that pretty nicely. It's worth marking that there at 924. Towards the top right now, I'm not going to mark the pre-market high right now. Let's see if this thing can get going. We do have the highs from 2 days ago coming up here. Let's see what it does in this little stretch here. We'll come back to that and see how it's moving there. But right now, you have a nice little raise that we're kind of stuck in the last couple of days right in here. Here where are your bodies of your candles. You do have a couple of wicks that kind of stepped out of the zone there, but let's see if we can break out this range one more time here on Tesla, especially with earnings last night. Let's see how that plays out today. AMD has insane volume, guys. Something going on with AMD. They have 7.2 million shares traded in the pre-market. Now, I know 2.4 is on this candle here, but even if you take that out, that is still a lot of volume. So I don't know if anything going on there. Um, you are long AMD from 109.8. Very nice. 109.8. Good. Good, good, good. It's very good there. Nice little trade. Nice little bounce. So yeah, they're looking good this morning. Looking at their daily, you're pretty much set, guys. We have levels from before on here. Highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Previous day close are all in here. I mean, are you really going to add any more levels in here? I mean, what are you going to do? If you do that, it just gets too congested. Keep it very simple, guys. Sometimes simplicity gives you clarity. That's important when it comes to trading. You don't want your indicators, kind of contradicting other indicators. It just can get very, very messy. 105.79, so I'm going to mark down low of the pre-market, and we're looking pretty decent this morning on AMD. We got tons of levels here. We have 119, we have 122 and 125. I don't think we need anything else here on AMD this morning. NVIDIA, guys, looking very good. All tech is heading up this morning. Let's take a look at the Qs. They must be doing very well, or at least heading northeast. Yep, they are. So kind of getting a little bit of a bounce here as we've seen some just great, great movements in the last couple of days. So heading back to NVIDIA, guys, good volume here as well. Very similar to AMD, just not with as much volume, of course. High of the pre-market right now sitting at 223, 234.21. Above that, we do have the highs from yesterday. We do have this, again, this kind of range channel that we've kind of been in for the last couple of days. Let's see if we can break out of that one on NVIDIA. Apple, great volume, 1.3 million shares traded. Also stuck within this range, right? We kind of highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Looking outside of that a little bit, we do have 166.32, and then towards the bottom, just going to mark down 154.73. There's just way too many levels in here. We got some pretty good action also in the pre-market on Apple. So, all right, tech is looking good this morning, guys. A lot of volume in there, getting a nice little bounce. Our secondary list, even Microsoft start to step in. You can look at that one if you like that one as well. So yeah, we got a whole bunch of stuff that's looking nice this morning. So we'll see how things are going to trade out. All right, let's take a look at our moderators lineup. As I am doing this, resizing this for your viewing pleasure, guys, over on YouTube, please hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it very much. It does help out the channel a lot. And we promise not to bill you if you do hit that thumbs up. It'll be completely free of charge, and take advantage of that because it's not a lot of things that are free of charge in this world. All right, let's start with Jared, AMD, Tesla, Apple. Keep an eye on some risk factors. So TNX and QQ's volatility spikes. IPOs for today, we have two. There they are. Peter's giving you that. Ooh, let's get rid of that. There we go. I think it's when I hit that hotkey, it does that. So here it is. Here it goes. Yep. So you got some IPOs there. Mike is looking at SQ, mRNA, and Nvidia this morning. Tiffany likes Tesla, AMD. Megan is looking at Ford and Oxy this morning. John, Nvidia, Netflix, and mRNA. Dima is looking at AMD and Apple. And here's Peter's list: AMD, Ford, McDonald's. Secondary list: Netflix, Tesla, INTC, Love, LVS, and Lucid. So much to watch today. I agree. So a whole lot of stuff moving today, guys. So you have to be picky. Be very picky, because if not, your list can be very long. I feel like I'm heavy on the tech side here this morning, but that is what's catching the attention so far. I am sure as things open up. See, the great thing about having the community in the chat is that if I don't have something, you guys will call it out, and we can hop in there and take advantage if there's something that can be traded. So Great to have more pair of eyes looking at everything that's happening here. So, um, so far, so far we are all set. Yeah, we're all set. Done pretty early this morning. 9:03, guys. We can get into some discussions, questions that we can answer. Right now, Nvidia Tech pushing higher this morning. See the cues there going northeast. SPY as well heading northeast. So are we getting into a bounce back day this morning? So that should be fun. No low flows today, guys. No low flows being active. It's funny. Low flows have been very quiet. All the attention has been going to these bigger names. I mean, when was the last time we had a real good low flow? Oh yeah, we had a S. Actually, I'm not sure if this is a low flow, but John traded this yesterday, and he actually did very well. SRRA. He traded this thing yesterday. What's the float on this thing? SRRA. Yeah, 6.7. Yeah, so John, I'm not sure if he did a recap on it, but he did a trade on this one. He actually did very, very nice. And he traded very well, guys. Look at this nice, beautiful pop here. This thing this morning has 487,000. Trying to get into the green. Not looking so hot right now, but they had a positive catalyst. I remember that. So let's see if that's gonna stick. What I like about this one, by the way, is that you popped up and you're not selling down, you're not going sideways. You had a huge follow through the next day, right? Because sometimes you get this first initial day with an overreaction, and then people actually look into the news and say, "Oh man, this is garbage. This is not going to go anywhere," and it'll just go sideways, give you a fake out, and slam back down to reality. This one's actually holding here, so this could be. You know what? I think I just convinced myself to add this to our list. So SRRA, low flow of the day. It's got to get a little more volume, but yeah, this is looking interesting here, man. When you start doing stuff like this, that means your catalyst is real, and I think their catalyst was something about some FDA approval, if I remember. Let me hop over into our Benzinga little thing over here, and we can see if what's the news on that. So, um, guys, if you're new to the chat, that Benzinga logo does something. It's just not there for looks. If you click on that, you can get this little pop up here. Click. You can type in any ticker SRRA, and you can get any news on here. So I'm not seeing the actual catalyst this morning. So just getting overall moving information, health. Yeah, I think it was an FDA approval. What I like about this thing too, this search box, if you didn't know, for those that are members in the community, if you type in like FDA, or if you type in like upgrade or something, it will actually read this message here off the header. So you can see upgrades. Like you can type upgrade, downgrade, kind of see, what tickers are upgraded, downgraded now. Someone mentioned this one earlier. So that's on there as well. Citigroup upgrades GLPG. Let's see. Citigroup is a big company. Let's see what CLPG is doing. CLPG. Did I type that right? GLPD. GLPG. Okay, there we go. All right, we got a nice little pop here, 15%. No volume, but that's a nice little pop there for them this morning. So yeah, take advantage of that, guys. Pretty good service there. Right embedded into the chat. So all right, what else do we have, guys? I think we're pretty much all set. Eamon coming in with his list, and Eamon does not like a whole lot today. Might skip trading. So notice Eamon's style is a little bit different. All of us here, the rest of us are salivating on the tech stocks. Eamon doesn't like that type of trading style. So potential shorts for him is going to be Mara, CHPT, and maybe American Airlines. So it's a great thing about trading. You can find your style, what you're good at, and you can really take advantage. And Eamon has found a style that works amazing for him, and he can recognize when it's not gonna be his type of day. So sweet, sweet, sweet. Norm, are you done for the day?
No.
Okay, all right, just checking.
I wish I was. I was yesterday really early, but
yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Let's see here. Couple of tickers on YouTube. Let's check them out. NEO, we looked at already. Microsoft, we looked at. The TQQs, yeah, you can look at that. Let's head down here. CMCSA. I believe that doesn't trade very well.
It's Comcast. Doesn't day trade very well. They had earnings this morning, but it trades like crap.
It's a very, very bad stock there. Roblox. See what's happening with Roblox this morning. Pretty quiet. They'll get the volume. They usually do, but I'm not seeing anything great compared to what I have on my list right now, right? So I think my list is looking pretty decent this morning. All right, what else we have, guys? think we are all set.
People are calling out Xilinx. We already looked at that.
Yeah, I'm again. I don't trade this well. What is this? XL and X. I never traded it. That's one. Pre-market action. I mean, you got 3.4 million, so definitely it's in play, guys. It's up here nicely, 8.3. So definitely it's in play. I just,
It moves pretty wildly.
yeah,
So
it does, it does. And spread is not horrible, but it's not great. You know, right now it's a little bit wide right now in the pre-market. You're looking at 40, 50 cents, but it'll get better in the market open, but it's still not great, at least for what I like to see on $190 stock, right? So just be on the lookout for that. This morning volume is actually pretty decent. You're getting almost what you trade on a given day here, 3.4 in the pre-market. So yeah, they're in play, guys. Definitely in play. Definitely take a look at those
Jack
if you
over
like
on
that.
YouTube is asking how many R's your daily goal. I don't trade in R's. I don't think you do either, do you?
I don't trade R's. I tried it.
Some of the team does.
Yeah, yeah. It just didn't. I don't think of it that way. I usually just take a set number of shares depending on the price and the movement and the risk, and then I don't calculate it by R's. Yeah, but
Yeah. So,
still,
and it's not that it's bad. It just I
no.
just
Yeah,
don't. Some of our team does, and people are asking what an R is. An R is a unit of risk. So however much risk you take on a trade, if you determine what your stop loss is and how much you'll lose if you get out at that stop loss. Let's say you're willing to risk $100 to make $200 or $300, then 100 would be your R.
yeah, yeah.
Helps some people psychologically to take the money out of it. Never worked for me. Doesn't really
Yeah,
do anything
I
for me.
partial out very aggressive, so the R's kind of get thrown out of place to begin with. I don't want to hold for one R when if I got a good move or take it too early. It depends on your trading style, guys. But it is you still have no matter what you do with R's or whatever, you have to have good risk management. That's the more important thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? You gotta have good risk management. The R system does help you do that, right? So you gotta have a system where you can manage your risk accordingly. Um, all right, guys, I think we're all set here. 9:10. Any questions we can answer? Whilst we're doing that, let's go ahead and take a look at our list this morning. I have LC here, not doing a whole lot. I'm kind of waiting for the market open to see what it does. So not really great. SQ is really good here today. Tesla is really, really good. AMD, amazing volume. That's nice. Let's just hope we don't get into this choppiness that we saw yesterday at the market open. It was just so choppy. There was no continuation on things. NVIDIA NVIDIA is probably one of the best ones this morning alongside Apple. Both Nvidia and Apple are really, really top of the list today. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on. Might have to wait a couple of minutes. We might get a little chop at the open, maybe a little sell off. Usually, when you get this little pop like this, you might have a little sell off. Things will settle down, and then we'll go from there. But we'll have to see. But overall, eyes on this guy right over here, the SPY, because he's determining what's happening. He's the one in control right now, the overall market and the Qs. Right, just keep an eye on those guys. I personally, again, not telling you what to do, but I will not be taking a trade against what these two guys are doing. Just will not be doing that, especially on Apple and Nvidia. If these guys are going south, I'm not going to be going north. I'll tell you that much. I want their help on whatever movement we are going to be getting here. Not going to swim upstream today, that's for sure. What is good about SQ? Well, see, you can't compare SQ. It's a great question, by the way, X Trader. Don't compare SQ to like a AMD, Nvidia, or Apple because you're not going to get that type of pre-market activity, right? But you do have 351,000. It is not doesn't look great, but what I like about it this morning is that we're holding this level here. We're slightly right on it, so I want to see if it's going to break down further. You can see here the range on the days have been pretty good. The few times it's broken down, it actually has ran pretty nice. So let's see. Let's see where it goes. But again, pre-market action is a nicey stock. You're not going to get anything great here. I like the daily on it. That's what I'm basing all my information on. This pre-market activity, you're not going to get anything there. You got to wait for the market open. Now, I'm not a great trader of SQ, so I'm probably not going to be heavily looking at this, but I do want to see where this is going to go today. But yeah, great question. Great question. Not all stocks are the same when it comes to their pre-market activity, their volume, and their daily, especially when you compare it to these big tech companies where they're getting just an insane amount of volume this morning. And also, as we mentioned before in the past, you're going to notice the Nasdaq exchange and the NYSE exchange pre-market, even after the bell, very different type of action and volume for the most part. Corey Piton, what is Piton up to, man?
Looked at it earlier. It wasn't doing squat then.
Yeah, hasn't not doing much. Pretty flat right now. So, but this is a fun one to watch because this is everything around is so interesting on what's going on, and I mean they obviously are not having fun, So we'll see, but pretty quiet right now. All right, guys, 9:13. We're wrapping it up here. Wait to see if any more moderators have their watch list coming out, but for the most part, we are all set. Have an amazing trading day this Thursday. We will see you again tomorrow. Remember, guys, tomorrow on YouTube we start at 8:30 a.m. with No Engineering the Markets with Jared. So 8:30 with Norman and I, so we can get going and kind of end the week. See how the SPY everything's gonna end this week, right? So if we look at it here, we started a little bit rough, kind of leveling out the last 4 days. We'll see where this goes. Has definitely been exciting, tell you that much.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right, let's see if Brian is sending out his list. If not, we will call it here and we will see you guys. What's today? Today actually is Thursday. Actually, let me show you guys. We have a bunch of stuff coming up today. Thursdays is mentorship day. And as we have 1 minute here, I'll show you guys on our website for those new members of the community and for those that are not members of the community. If you want to see what's happening, right over here, go over to webinars, and we have a whole bunch of stuff coming up on Thursday. Let's scroll down here. Tuesday, Wednesday, here is Thursday, guys. Mentorship with Andrew at 11 a.m. every Thursday. After that, we're doing mentorship with Ed at 4:30 and then Thor at 8. So, mentorship all the way today, guys. Do not miss this. They're really, really good. Take advantage of it. So we will see you guys on these mentorship days. So mentorship sessions. Take care, guys. Trade safe, and we will see you tomorrow or later in the chat. Take care, guys.
Yeah. Take care, guys. Trade safe.